Welcome everybody to the Murdock Manwaring and Cardon monthly market update for Southeast Idaho. We are so excited to have everybody here that's watching. You're joining us to join our conversation about what's going on in the market last month. So it is December and we are talking about November 2024. And it's been kind of a crazy year in real estate. And we are seeing some new things that haven't happened in a while. And we're excited for 2025. But let's talk about this. Now, if you're loving this content, if you're loving what we're doing and you're interested in market stats, please make sure to like and subscribe on whatever channel you are on. And if you'd like to get these in your email each month, we do a monthly newsletter that talks about the stats, has the video, but it also talks about some of their local businesses and other cool things going on. You just go to mmcidaho.com and click at the top and get the newsletter.
It'd be super fun to have everybody's YouTube hashtags. Go to YouTube on the video and say, hashtag, what did you think of 24? You know, like everybody chime in. How was 2024 for you?
Yeah.
I like it. And I like going to our channels and watching Corey do the splits and some dancing. It's been very fun. Mike's been a big part of the funny videos that are going down and everybody else in there. So I do like those. They're hilarious. But let's talk about numbers in the market. We want to cover Bingham, Bonneville, Jefferson, and Madison County. We have talked about combining them into one lump and having the number for all of them combined. We decided this month we wanted them separate again, and you'll see why, because we're having conflicting patterns in different counties. And let's just get right into it. I'll start with Bonneville County.
It's as if the counties can't decide if they're Chiefs fans or Bills fans. There's just some conflicts, some internal conflicts.
So Bonneville County, I don't know what you call this, but last year, 2023, in the month of November, there was 105 homes that sold. We've been hearing about, the market's terrible, the market's tight, the market this, the market that. Well, here's the market in Bonneville County. Instead of 105 like last year, we had 132 homes sell, almost 26% increase in the number of homes that sold in that 1 month. At the same time, this year, we have more inventory. We've been having a lack of inventory, homes available to buy in the market. Last year, we only had 117. This year, we have 156. So inventory is increasing, and so are the transactions. And I think if you look over to the right, a big part of that has been the drop in interest rates. So we're still getting activity increasing, and people are willing to move because the current interest rates makes things more affordable. And if we're leaving a mortgage at 3%, it's easier to leave that behind and go to maybe a 6.5. Today, we're a little bit higher than we have been in the last few months, even at 6.8. But it's easier to leave and go to that than to 7 or 8%, which we've seen over the last, year or so.
Also keep in mind, Jeremy, these interest rates that we're showing right here are for conventional financing. If we're going FHA or these government sponsored loans that a lot of our buyers are doing, I've had folks get down into the 5s over the last month with no or minimal buy downs. So don't be too scared of the interest rates, because realistically we're doing pretty hot right now.
Yeah, there are options. Go ahead, Jess.
We see the home sales. So if you look at the home sales, those are closed homes. So if they're closing in November, they're going under contract and getting their rate locked in September. Sometimes, in October, sometimes even into September. In September rates, the conventional rates were at 6.2. In October at the same time, the rates were 6.4. So we're actually up in that rate at 6.8, but these guys were closing. So I think that allowed for a little bit of a surge. We saw a little bit more activity in September and October because of those lower rates. Now, will this slow down because interest rates have ticked up just a little bit? We'll see, but we do see an increase of new listings coming in the market. I think a lot of people that thought rates were going to drop, they've been waiting and waiting and waiting. They thought the election was going to drop interest rates. And I think they're settling and realizing, you know what, if we're going to sell, we're going to sell. Let's waiting for interest rate, a big, huge back down below 5%. Probably not in the cards.
Yeah.
Whole story of this year, huh, Jess?
Yep. Good point.
Yeah, I think a big thing that we are also seeing is we know as realtors, because we're in this market every single day, but you might not know, is typically new home sales push values. And so we have had in the past, we have great builders in this area, awesome builders, and gets to the end of the year, and because of our weather, builders don't necessarily want to hang on to inventory through the winter. So I think it happens that, you know, with those home sales, we've got more up that have sold, and we also have all these new listings that the builders have said, okay, houses are finished, they're ready to go. And when you have builders listing on the market, they list them before they're finished. So I think that kind of helps with the days on market being up. Is I think new builds are doing a lot of this push in Bonneville County. You look at the home prices are up a little bit, and I think that's a big factor, is new home buildings, a lot coming on the market.
Totally right. Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, great points you guys are making. The new construction always drives prices up or down for existing construction, right? If anybody has the option to buy a brand new house or a pre-owned home existing at the exact same price, most people are going to choose the brand new house, you know, not every time, but most of the time. And so when you've got inventory coming on that's brand new, no one's ever used that bathroom, no one's ever lived in it, it's a little more appealing. And so as those values go up, and that's why you see when it costs more for construction material and new homes or prices are going up, existing home prices are going to get pulled up as well, because you know they compete. So if you look at days on market is always our leading indicator. That's the current active inventory, that, you know, how long does it sit there before it gets into a contract and closes. When that increases, we're seeing it takes a little bit longer because inventory is increasing. And from last year, we are having more inventory enter the market, and this days on market, we're probably going to see that increase a little bit more too. Nicole mentioned, you know, we have natural seasonality here with the actual seasons, right? And so when I think a factor of that as well is when new stuff hits in December, well, they had to start that in the spring, right? And they couldn't start it sometimes in the middle of winter. And so this time of year does have a bunch more activity and new stuff if they're bringing in inventory that way. So absorption
and if you look
rate
on the left of those little buildings, those little houses, new listings up and days on the market up means that there's more houses on the market. They're sitting longer. So what does that typically mean? That means we're getting closer to a buyer's market. We haven't got to that yet, but if there's more on the market and they're sitting there longer, that means prices will typically take a dip.
That's right. And that's talking about the absorption rate, which is that it kind of tells us the tipping point between, are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? When typically 5-6 months of inventory is balanced. And so when we're below 5 or 6 months, then we're in a seller's market because there's not enough to meet the demand of buyers. But when that inverse relationship happens and inventory goes up and there's 10 months of inventory, now it's a buyer's market because they have all sorts of options that they can go in and negotiate against. So that's Bonneville. Go ahead.
A way to think about this is, I heard someone explain this. Absorption is how long until the buyers in the market absorb the market, right? So that's why it's called absorption rate. How long until our current buyers would absorb what we've got? So if they'll absorb it quicker, right? If they'll go absorb it quicker, that means sellers have more of an advantage. If it takes longer for the number of buyers to absorb it, the buyers are more of an advantage. So if you're wondering, if you're the layman out there listening, That's kind of the idea. It gives us an idea of whether the market is hot or whether the market is cooling off on the absorption rate.
We don't have any lame men out there listening, Jessica.
Okay, gotcha.
Lame.
Lame.
Like. So here's the price points, and we'll kind of go skim through this and not get too deep because we want to cover these other counties real quickly. But this
Jeremy, can you zoom in for everybody just a little bit?
I don't think that I can. Isn't it big?
Well, it's pretty small.
Yeah, I'm
right.
sharing a application screen, not my computer screen. That was a new feature that I just saw.
Well, if you'd like to get this, if it's too small, just remember, get the newsletter.
Yeah, we'll send you the originals. You can zoom it in to your heart's content. But we typically see, a lot of difference under 500,000 and over 500,000, and we see that again, in Bonneville County, that under in that sweet spot 3 to 450, we're seeing a lot of transactions happen, a lot of closings happen in that. We get over that, we're still pretty strong in 5 to 600, but there was a piece of this. Look at 7 to 800,000 number of pending, 0, but there are 11 listed properties. So there's none of them that are under contract right now, and the days on market are just ticking up, 156. And so the different price points, different counties make a difference in on what things are doing and how quickly things are moving. And so overall, it does tell us, what we can kind of expect with our current inventory, active listings, versus what is going to close and what has closed. So let's jump into.
Before you move on to just a little, if someone's looking at this, absorption rate gives you a little historical perspective because it takes into account how many homes have sold in the last 6 months on average, and then the number of actives, and that's how fast the buyers are absorbing. But pending ratio is interesting because that's how many homes are under contract not closed versus active. It's a little bit more of an active pulse on what's happening right now in the moment. And so the higher that pending ratio is, the more of the number of homes on the market versus how many are under contract. You can see the hot markets, the higher those numbers get. Think of it, the temperature going up on the pending ratio. That's a hotter market.
Nice. Let's get into Bingham County, Jess.
Yeah, so this is a big shot. I mean, we're taking a big swing, right? We're swinging all the way the other way. And so we are down 30%. Now, 30% sounds like a big number, but that's eight homes. But when you only sold 18, that is a big swing. So last month, they only closed on 18 homes in Bingham County, which is just south of Idaho Falls. But luckily, we are getting an increase in new listings. So as we get more inventory on the market, will that increase the number of homes that sell? We don't know, but it should see if there's more inventory and not as many closings, we should be seeing a little move toward the buyer's market, right? That means the buyers have more choices. There's more inventory out there, but not as many closings. Buyers are shopping. So this is, I think, the only county that's down on average price. So we're down 9.3 on average price. So will we see, as a result of that, days on market start to go down? Normally, when we would be moving into a buyer's type of market, you might see the number of days on market go up. So this is a little bit of an anomaly to watch for in Bingham County next month. You're seeing the absorption rate. We're getting more inventory. So, but that's still 1.2 months. So I say we're moving toward a buyer's market, but our balanced market's 4. You're not even into a buyer's market until after 6 months. So it's still, we're at 4.2. It's still a seller's market. It's still a seller's market in that realm, but we're moving right into balanced. So I think that's an interesting thing.
But what I've been noticing, if you go back to that slide real quick, you're noticing, and you said it, Bingham County, which is pretty much Shelley and Blackfoot for us, are the places where the prices have dropped, right? And what I'm seeing personally this year is a lot of the people that are looking for the deals, if you're willing to drive a little bit further to work in IF or whatever, you're finding better deals in Blackfoot and Shelley. The problem has always just been inventory. Like you're seeing right here in the top left corner, there's not too much to pick from, but when those deals pop up, they're gone.
Yeah, I think it is the dark horse for sure, Zach. But look at that. We're up 30% in inventory. Maybe there's some opportunities down there.
Yeah.
Call Zach
absolutely.
and he can look around Blackfoot for you.
Because they are going quick. Days on market are decreasing with the larger supplies, because probably you nailed it, Zach. Prices are a little bit lower on average.
Well, one thing that we just know in our community as we grow, it's just as fast to drive from Shelley to Idaho Falls as it is to drive from Iona or Ammon across town. So
Yeah,
people are realizing, oh,
absolutely.
that little shift, it's just changing a bit.
Yeah. Speed limit went up, people.
That's right. Here's like in the grid here in Bingham County. As we look at this, sometimes if you want to look at a pulse on what's happening right now, we kind of glance down that pending ratio. Looking for the higher rate. Look at that 400 to 450. Hot to trot. Only 6 on the market, and we have 5 pending. So, and overall, the same thing. If you look over at days on market and the absorption rate, that's a low one, 2.4 months. So that's a hot price point in Bingham County. And as you go higher and higher, you see, well, I guess what's really hot is 800 to 900, but there's only 1 house on the market, but we got 3 pending. So, that's an interesting time.
They get a little bit of land with your houses in that 400 plus price point, and that's what people are looking for in Bingham.
Yep, absolutely. Really interesting as you look at one of the columns that says sales price to final list price. This will give you an idea when they have that list, when they've got the home listed and you're looking on Zillow, what's the price? What's their final sell price? How much are they coming down from that? Now, this is not from original price. So they've done price reductions to get to a price, but still, even once they've come under contract, how far down are sellers coming? I mean, on average, under 500, you're still at 99%. If you're getting above 500, there's a little more opportunity. But look above that $1 million, 88%. So, I mean, there's not that many to choose from down there, but that's an interesting statistic. So let's take a look at Jefferson. So now we're going a little north of us. Again, down on home sales. So 19% down, but we're up on listings. So new list. Oh, that says down. Down. Sorry about that. We're down on listings. So will that put more pressure in Jefferson County? We should see that. Now, absorption rate is up to 4.1. They're moving into that balanced market. And home prices, a jump. They're increasing. So if we keep the new listings tightening, we should see prices continue to go up because we're not getting enough new listings. So if we have 29 closed last month or in November, and we got 28 on the market, it's almost balanced. But if that happens, that tightens, right? If we have new listings less than closed, that's tightening the market. Here's a little glance. We've got some hot price points in Jefferson County. Jefferson County can get a little bit more land. So, you might see a little on the lower price points, be a little more active because as you get a little more land, your price goes up just a little bit. So really interesting number of pendings. Interesting, there's nothing in the under the 2 to 250s, very low in under 200. So you can't get a lot of affordability down there. But really interesting stats on there's a little bit more going on above 500 in Jefferson County. And Madison County. Yeah, Madison County is an anomaly. It's our farthest north up to Rexburg, and it's down on closings, and it's down on new listings. So we had 16 close, but we got 16 new listings. I mean, 26 new listings. Will that add a little bit to it?
Always a little bit colder up there in Madison County.
That's what I was going to say. Winter comes sooner. Those builders are quitting a little earlier over there.
Yep. Absolutely.
50%. I mean, that's a big drop.
It's a big drop. Now, if you, as we get more unaffordable, that's a college town, right? You don't get as much activity if the townhouses or those things are unaffordable, and it's a pretty easy drive to go to Rigby. But look at that, price is down almost 10%.
Out of those 16 houses, it's down 10% from the previous year in values. Doesn't mean that whatever you bought a year ago is worth 10% less, but the average in that county has decreased.
The average on what's sold, not on that's not active prices. That is what sold.
Right.
What were the price points versus what sold last year? And when we're down 50%, and you look at that, that should indicate that there's less buyers out there. So we'll see what happens as a result of that. If less people are buying and we're getting more inventory, if that price keeps dipping, now it could indicate that we're just selling more of the lower price. So let's go to the next slide.
Now we're not getting new inventory, however.
Well, we're getting more inventory than we're selling. So we didn't lose. We only sold 16, but we gained 26. So they added 10 more homes to the inventory.
Previous year was 38. And so
Yeah.
we're seeing a decrease of people wanting, the number of people that are willing to sell right now year over year is less, and then still increase in days on market.
Days on market. Yeah.
Strange.
Interesting. So something sold. If we look at what's selling, how many houses are selling is at the lower price point. There's only 5 houses. So we're looking at average. So let's talk about average price. So you're saying, is your house value going down? Well, no, just look at the combination of what's sold. There's just a number of closings, 118 versus only 20 above $500,000.
Yeah.
That should drive that average price down because we're just having more houses under 500 sell.
Yep.
Yep. And that will happen, of course, as interest rates go up.
Look at absorption rate average over 500,000.
That's a buyer's market in Madison County.
Market.
If you look at this, you would say there is a buyer's market in Madison County above 500,000.
Yeah. I mean, you got 9 listed over, in between 6 and 7. None of them are pending. You got 4 here, 1, 4, 1, 10, and only 2. So
yeah,
that's tough.
It's tough.
But I think something that's actually really interesting, if you look at the sale price to final list price in that 500 to $1 million, it's still pretty close, right? I mean, you're not walking away with 20% off what you were thinking you would get. So even though it's a solid buyer's market, the absorption rate, that sale price to final list price is pretty consistent with the others.
Interesting. Good observation.
That is interesting how your list to sold is pretty much the same as your lower price points. Maybe there's just more buyers coming in.
So I might make an observation about this, since this is the list price, which is whatever it's listed at the time versus what they close for. So if you get your house and you reduce the price and get into the pocket, if you're a buyer that thinks, here's the listed price, I'm going to come in 20 grand under that. If they've done price reductions, this is proving the seller won't take it. The seller's not going to come down another 20%. Now they might have to come down from their original price, but once they hit the pocket, there's not as much of a margin from that pocket price to the final close price. So sellers aren't willing to take 20% under until they've had the time on the market and brought their price down, probably.
Yeah. Market corrects itself, doesn't it?
It does. Yep, it does. And that's stats.
It. Thanks everyone for joining us today. And if you do want to have a copy, go to our website there. Click on join our newsletter. We'll send you everything. Go watch Zach and Mike and Corey do some dancing, and Nicole with her dogs. And
if you made it to the end and you're still here, we're going to have a dance off. So stick around.
Get ready for a dance off.
Nicole will have a dance off.
That's right.
Zach will show you how to build an amazing platform for your truck to put 18 snowmobiles on. Stack them 2 deep. So thanks for joining us. Yeah, we'll keep you informed on what the market's doing, and
join us in January for the year in review.
Year in review coming up next time.
Next time,
once we get out of December, we're going to show you what the whole year did, and it could be interesting. And we're expecting more of the same for 2025. We're hoping, as we see slivers like this month over month from last year, and we see these dramatic shifts, we're hoping that those shifts aren't quite as big, and we are seeing that trend that maybe the gap between, last year, 23 and 24 to 25, we will make up some of that difference, and values are still increasing overall. We haven't seen any major dips in values overall, but we're hoping that continues and rates continue to make things affordable. But we will keep you up to date there, and call with any questions. We want to help where we can. Anybody else have any final words?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Nice.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for joining us. See ya.